Hello everyone, I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. I'm glad you're here. I have another card this week using the Sweet as a Peach stamp set. So I'm going to be using the stamp set along with the peach dies and the layering circles. And you can find all three of these in our annual May 2021 to April 2022 catalog. So on page 61, you'll find You're a Sweet, and you'll see the stamp set and the dies, and you can purchase those together as a bundle. Of course, you don't have to buy the Sweet as a Sweet. You can pick and choose what you want. On page 134, it shows you the Designer Series paper, because I will be using one part of a 12 by 12 sheet of Designer Series paper, You're a Peach. And you can see all the beautiful colors on page 134 of the annual catalog. And then the layering circle dies are on page 163 at the bottom of that page. All right. And here is the beautiful Designer Series paper. And as you're familiar, but you have two sides to our Designer Series paper. So isn't that gorgeous? Let me show you the card that we're going to make today. It is a fun fold. And so here is the card. Have a peachy day. And I'm going to make it the same way, only I'm going to be using a different Designer Series paper from the same pack of Designer Series paper that goes with the Sweet Peach stamp set. So have a peachy day. It opens up. It's your day. And then we can open the card up and let's celebrate you. So this is the card that we're going to make today. And you will need 3 of the layering circle dies, and the largest one is 2.5, and then they just go down from there. So let me bring in what we're going to need. Our card base is Old Olive, and this is 5 1/4 by, excuse me, let me try that again. The card base is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 folded in half. So the card base is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 folded in half. And then I'll just use my bone folder to make a crisp edge. And then we're going to have 2 basic white. You'll need 1 basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. And your second basic white will be the same, 5 1/4 by 4. So you're going to need 2 layers, because 1 of the basic white will go inside our card and 1 will go on the outside of our card. You'll need Calypso Coral, and this is 5 by 3 3/4. And then you're going to need a scrap of basic white, a scrap of Old Olive, and a scrap of Calypso Coral. The ink colors we're going to use today are Old Olive and Calypso Coral. So those are the only 2 ink that I'll be using today, Calypso Coral and Old Olive. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with a Designer Series paper. We're going to score, and we're going to cut this. So our Designer Series paper is 5 1/4 by 12. And the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to score. So I am going to turn the paper this way to score it. So I have the 12 inches. So I'm going to put it in our trimmer, and I'm going to score this at 4 inches. And I'm going to use the lighter blade, because that is our scoring blade. And then I'm going to score this at 8 inches. which means I need to open up our arm. And try to have this so you can see it. So we're going to place this at 8. Make sure that our Designer Series paper is at the top. It's all even there. Close this. Again, we're going to use our lighter blade because we're scoring. All right. And now I'm going to fold this down and we're going to do some cutting. And now I'm going to place the 5 1/4 inch here at the top. So what we want to do is that we're going to use our pencil and we're going to mark the middle of this. So we're going to look for the halfway point, and that is about 2 5/8. And 2 5/8, that would be 2 marks after 2 1/2. So that would be about the half. And then we are going to put a little mark at the bottom of on our Designer Series paper, and you'll want to use a pencil for that. So you just make a little mark. So I'm just going to show you that I have a little mark right there. So the mark's at the bottom. And now we are going to place this end in our trimmer and then line up at the bottom our 2 5/8. Then I'm going to close. Felt like I moved it a little bit, so I'm going to double check. That looks about right. So I have this corner in I'm going to hold it over here with my left hand. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut. This piece I'll set aside. And now we're going to make one more cut. So now I'm going to put this point on the diagonal, and I'm going to line up my pencil mark down here. I'm going to close this and cut. And this is the piece that we're going to use. So let me go ahead and move our trimmer out of the way. I think I bumped the camera, didn't I? So now you can decide. We can fold this on the score lines. So we can use this, or we can fold it the other way, fold it over, and then fold this back, and we can use this. So we can decide whether we want more of the olive green showing, or whether we want more of the flowers showing. I believe I want more of the flowers showing. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a crisp edge. So what I mean, on this card, I had the flowers showing the most. And so here, that's what I'm going to do here. And you'll still see the olive green. I'm going to bring in our scrap of basic white. I'm going to stamp in Old Olive. Have a peachy day. I'm going to turn that over. I don't think I got that quite straight as I wanted to. All right. Now we are going to use our smallest circle die. So I'm just going to place that right there. So then I can go ahead and I can stamp, "Let's Celebrate You." And we will also cut that out. I'm going to bring in our mini cut and emboss machine. And I am going to just place it over here a little bit because I'm going to have the peach right here later. There'll be a peach, so I want it, won't be exactly in the center. So I'll be having the peach over here, so I'm going to place that about right there. We'll go ahead and run this through. Take off the sticky. And then I'm going to reuse this layering circle die. The smallest one is what I'm using right now of the 3. And then I do want to try to place this about in the middle. Just put a little sticky there. Add my plate. And we'll go ahead and run this through. I'm using the scrap of Calypso Coral, and we're going to use the largest layering circle that we're out of the 3. So when I say largest, this is the one that measures 2.5 inches. So it's not the largest one in the layering circle, but it's the largest one of the 3 that I'm using today. So the largest is the 2.5, then the 2 sizes smaller than that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I will do the medium size in Old Olive. So I've already cut out one of the medium in Old Olive, and you'll need 2 of the middle size of your 3 layering circle dies that you're using today. So we need 2 of the Old Olive, one for the outside of the card and one for inside. I'm going to go ahead and add these together. So this is the largest Calypso Coral, medium Old Olive, and then our small basic white that we stamped our sentiment on. So I am just going to adhere these together. And I have brought in my silicone craft sheet. So I'll keep the glue on that because then it dries and I can just take it right off. And we will center this. Okay, we'll lay that aside. Then I'm going to bring the middle Old Olive and then the smallest basic white circle die that we cut out, Let's Celebrate You. Now I put Let's Celebrate You inside my card base on the card I showed you, but I'm going to change it around just a little bit this time. So we're going to have all the same sentiments. And then while I'm stamping, let me go ahead and bring in a scrap of basic white, and let's go ahead and stamp our peach and our leaves. So I brought in another scrap of basic white, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up our peach in Calypso Coral. Stamp that right there. And then we're going to stamp in Old Olive the leaves. I'll just put that right here. Bringing in our peach dies. So we have a die that will cut out this peach as well as the leaves. And then we have several other dies in here too that will cut out the larger leaf and the smaller flowers, and even a sentiment. And then I'm going to bring our mini cut and emboss machine back in, and we'll cut these out. Now, I know a lot of you know how to use the cut and emboss machine, but in case you're somebody that's a new stamper, new beginner, that is why that I like to go ahead and show this. And the reason I'm using the sticky notes is just to make sure that my die stays in place. And I'm going to grab one more for the leaf and make sure I get exactly like I want. And then we'll put the plate on top, and I started with my left hand, hang on to the top, and we just roll it across. Take the plate off, and then you can just carefully take off the sticky notes. And you'll see the magic. We have our leaf and our peach ready to use. All right, I think it's about time to start putting our card together. We have one more stamping left to do, and that is for our basic layer that is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. For the inside layer, we're going to use Old Olive, because I'm going to go ahead and keep all of the sentiments in Old Olive. And I'm going to use It's Your Day. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Make sure my layer is straight so then I can stamp this straight. There we go. And then I'm going to switch to Calypso Coral. And I'm going to bring in this little, kind of like a burst. And I'm just going to add 4 of those around It's Your Day. And we could put, you could do 5 if you wanted to, or 6. Just however you want. We're just going to end with that. All right, let's go ahead and add this to inside of our card base. And it is time to start putting our card together. Once you have the greeting stamped, then the card goes fairly fast. So I'm bringing in the Calypso Coral and the basic white layer, and I'm going to add those together. And this will fit fairly tight. In other words, you have to be careful that you have a little bit of white showing all the way around. Some basic white showing, because you just have a hint of the basic white. The Calypso Coral, I believe I gave you the wrong measurement. So this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I will have all the dimensions in the description below. So I'm going to layer this right on top of our card base. I've added the adhesive. So I'm just going to add this right here and get it straight and lined up. And then I'm going to bring in our Designer Series paper. And when you hold it this way, this is like a Z fold. So this larger piece right here is going to line up on the front of the card. And so then we are going to turn this over and add adhesive here. And then place it right here. So I've added the adhesive, turning it over. And I am going to So I'm not placing it on the old olive. I'm placing it on the basic white. It'll fit right there from corner to corner, that basic white layer. Make sure that I get it. There we go. All right, then we can press that down. So right now our card opens up like this. We're going to put a greeting in here. And then we're going to add to the front also. You can leave this this point right here, or we can also cut it off. I'm going to bring in Let's Celebrate You. And so what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to open this up and I'm going to place this in here. And I want to make sure that when I close this, that you don't see it. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to add adhesive. And you could punch this up with dimensionals too if you wanted to. So again, just to make sure that I have it correct. Then I'm going to bring in Have a Peachy Day. And I am going to place this about right here. And then I'll be adding my peach and my leaves. So I am going to snip this off. I'm just going to snip a little bit of this Z off like that. And then I'm going to add some adhesive and I'm going to adhere this down on this card. So this piece right here. Just going to add some adhesive to that. Fold that over. But we still have this still open so we can see Let's Celebrate You. Then we're going to go ahead and add this. And I think we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. And don't ever throw away these rims of your dimensionals because you can still use those. Now, I didn't pop up that last one, but I'm going to do that on this card. One of the things I like about making cards is the creativity and how they can be similar but different. So I've taken the backings off, bring our card in, and we are going to set that right here. And of course on the back, you can see a little bit of the circle, and I could move it over so you wouldn't, but I think that's fine. And then we are going to add our peach. And so I'm going to put I'm going to add a little adhesive here on the right hand side. Then I'm going to put a dimensional on the left, so that will make it even. And I am going to bring in a new sheet of dimensionals for this. And I think I'll put 2. Put 2 right there. And then we'll take and add a little adhesive on the opposite side. And then we will put our peach right there. And we will add our leaves. But we have to be careful. So I think we're going to do our leaf this way. And which means we're going to put a mini under the small leaf. Because this leaf, the larger leaf, will rest on the peach. But we don't want it to sag, so we're going to put a mini dimensional on underneath on that small leaf. Because if I put the leaf the other way, then it's going to cover up our sentiment, and we don't want that. And let me get a little bit right there. There we go. So here is our card. have a peachy day. And we're going to add some gems because we need some gems on a card, right? But have a peachy day. Let's celebrate you. And then the card opens. It's your day. So let's go ahead and add some embellishments. Well, I'm thinking we could add on the matte decorative dots, we could add the old olive. But we have a lot of old olive going on. I think I'm going to pull out the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels because our flowers have kind of a touch of that yellow or gold. Bring in my Take Your Pick tool. And let's just go ahead and add one right there in the center of those flowers. And then bring one right down here. So here is our card. Our fun fold. Have a peachy day. Let's celebrate you. And then you can open up the card. It's your day, and you have a place where you can write. So here is the card I showed you at the beginning, and the only difference is that I use a different designer series paper, and inside the first card, I put It's Your Day, and on this one, Let's Celebrate You. And then I popped up our sentiment on the outside of our card with dimensionals, where this one I did not. So let me know if you like this fun fold, and which of the cards do you like the best? Do you like the one where we don't have the sentiment popped up, or do you like it where it's popped up? And of course, this one I did not add any gems, but I definitely could do that, and I probably will. Again, I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Iowa. Please consider subscribing by clicking that subscribe button down below, and I'll have the measurements in the show more. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.